If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.
What's up, Buffalo Fanatics? Josh Allen here. Just wanted to say go Bills.
Yo, what's up, Bills Mafia, Buffalo Fanatics? It is your man, Rev Rhodes, back at it again with another edition of Rated Rev, brought to you by the Buffalo Fanatics Network. Yo, whether you're joining me on YouTube Live, on Facebook Live, on Twitter, or whether you're listening to this, as you're driving on your way to work or whatever the case may be, yo, look, grace and peace to all of you. But do me this favor. If you're watching live, like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And if you're listening, go ahead and like it too, man. And share this with everybody that is watching. This is, like I mentioned, another edition of Rated Rev, and we are excited. We are ready to go. This is the start. This is midweek, baby. We are about to hit off and kick off against the Baltimore Ravens. Oh my goodness. I am ready. What's happening, everybody in the chat? What's up? Everybody, you know how we do it. If you're watching live, do me this favor right now. I need to know where you're watching from. So pop it up in the chat. Let me know. We're getting revved up, baby. Bills fan 90 says, yo, we are fully revved up. There we go. You about to rev me up, man. You are about to rev me up. Primo says, yo, let's go, Bills. Let's go, man. Let's go. Who else in here is ready for some Baltimore Ravens? And who else in here is tired of talking about the doggone Miami Dolphins? I'm fed up with all this Miami Dolphins talk. I'm done with it. I am done with it. Absolutely done with it. You ain't got to worry about hearing nothing like that tonight, okay? Because we're moving on. We are moving on, right? The players say, yo, this is a 24-hour rule. Well, it's been 24, 48, 72 hours? It's done. We are on to Baltimore. And we better make sure we focus on the Baltimore Ravens, too, because that team ain't no joke. Let's get it popping. Oh, K-Dub says, yo, he is from PA 814. Let's go. I've got Pennsylvania in the house. Trust the process. What's going on? Garbage plate upstate. Yo, I've been wanting to know, man, how that garbage plate is. I've seen it. I've never been on the East Coast like that before. Never even tasted it. I've seen some videos, but I'm not going to lie. It looks disgusting. But I'm willing to try just about anything. So y'all tell me, man, what is that garbage plate really like? I don't know. But I've got Chris 716 coming in from South Buffalo, New York. What's good, Chris? What's good? Don Handsome in the house, 607. There we go. Maurice Anderson in the house from Las Vegas, listening at work. Maurice, I appreciate you, baby. Don't get caught, don't get in trouble, but go Bills. Yes, sir. Alpha in here from Jersey and sick of the fit. That's what I'm talking about, man. I am fed up. I've had enough. I have had enough. I can't deal with it no more. I just can't do it. Advanced Hood Cleaning Solutions. 585, baby. I don't know what 585 is, but yo, appreciate you for watching, for tuning in. Everybody that has been watching, how has your week been going so far? How are you doing? How you feeling? Huh? Are you sobered up? Are you ready to go? Huh? Are you tired of all this nonsense? Are you ready to get things moving with the Baltimore Ravens? Man, if you are ready to get things going with the Baltimore Ravens, do me this favor. I want you to smash that like. Smash that like. Let me know how you feeling. Smash that like, because, yo, it is Ravens week, ladies and gentlemen. Cash all the way in here for 585 is Rochester. I appreciate you, Cash. Thanks for that. Thanks for that. I've got Caesar coming in here from Milford, Massachusetts. There we go. Grace and peace to you. He Dawn comes from 716 East Hammers, North Buffalo. Ladies and gentlemen, Raven 187 says, yo, live in Bama now, but I miss a good old Nick G plate. I don't know what that is. I guess you're talking about a garbage plate. I gotta try it. It looked nasty on TV, especially when I saw how they made it. It looked gross. But you know what I'm saying? I'm not afraid. I'm willing to try it. But yo, I'm ready. I am ready for tonight's show. I've got some topics that I wanna discuss. We're gonna talk about the importance, ladies and gentlemen. The importance of this game. The importance of this game. I'm not too sure if you realize it or not, but this game that we're playing not we're, but the Buffalo, you know what I'm talking about. The Bills are playing this Sunday against the Baltimore Ravens is extremely important. It has a lot of weight. And we're going to talk about why this game in particular is a must-win game for the Bills. We have to talk about that. Why this game is so critically important for the Bills and why they must win this game. We're going to get all into that. We're going to talk about the matchups. We're going to talk about some key matchups to look out for as we are previewing the Ravens game. We're going to talk about the Baltimore Ravens and what we need to be looking out for. What can we expect? Lamar Jackson is that man. Looks like he's on a mission, no doubt. But we can't start off without even talking about the injuries, right? Because I don't know about you, but for me, this was like the most important piece of news, right? All week. I mean, after the game, and then we go to Monday and then Tuesday and today. Yo, for me, it's been about the injuries. It's been about the injuries. Like I'm like, look, what does the injury report look like? Right? What does that look like? And because that's gonna let me know. I guess I can say that will determine how I really feel about this game going forward, right? I'm not here to make no excuses. It is what it is. Next man up. We got all that cliche garbage out the way. You know what I'm saying? We know all about all that. But we cannot underestimate the importance of having a healthy roster. Okay, let's not act like losing all these guys it does not affect the Bills' performance. They're starters for a reason. Okay, and so when we look into it, to me that's what it was about. It's been about how many guys are we getting back, right? What does it look like? And I had made a post on Twitter earlier today when the Bills put out the injury report, and man, I said something. It's the truth, man. I said, I cannot. I never thought that I'd be so happy to see so many quote unquote limited designations in all of my life. Right? I mean, it's the truth though, because we saw how daunting that report looked last week, and then man, all eyes were on this report that was coming out this week. All eyes were on it, right? I mean, shoot, even Tupac was looking at it. Pac was looking at it. And so, when I go through it this week and I'm looking, Ryan Bates did not participate. Okay. Christian Benford did not participate, which we expected that, right? Broken hand, just had surgery. I get it. Deion Dawkins did not participate. I'm like, oh, but it said he had an illness. So what type of illness did he have? I don't know. I'm not too sure if anybody if that was even talked about. I'm not too sure. I didn't get a chance to check in on all of those reports and conferences, whatever. But nevertheless, he didn't participate today. But then we look at Jay Kumaro, ankle, did not participate. We expected that. Von Miller came up on a do not participate, but it was a veteran rest day for him, as well as Roger Saffold. And then Jordan Phillips didn't participate as well with the hamstring injury, which we can expect him to be out probably, a couple of weeks with that hamstring injury. But everybody else, Gabe Davis, Dane Jackson, how encouraging was it to actually see Dane Jackson walk on the field, the practice field today, after the injury that he sustained, that looked like something that he would. It didn't look like that injury did not look good, right? And then we heard reports about how he walked out of the hospital, right? The Bills did a great job, right, playing it safe. But then to see my brother, man, actually make it to the practice field today and participate, man, that's a blessing. That is a blessing indeed. And so, kudos to Dane Jackson, man. Man, that brother escaped. He definitely escaped. So it was good to see him on the field. But then we look at the rest of the report. So we got Dane Jackson back. We got Dawson Knox limited with the back or hip injuries, what it says. Cam Lewis limited, Mitch Morse limited, Justin Murray limited, Ed Oliver and Jordan Poyer limited. That's I know when you just look at it, it looks daunting. But when you look at the limiteds, that's encouraging because we are midway through the week. You got a couple more practices to go, and these guys are limited. If they were DNP, then I would be worried. But they're limited, so hopefully, everything is going on the up and up, and we can expect to see a lot of these guys back because, man, oh man, do we need as many of these players back as possible because we have ourselves an incredible matchup against the Baltimore Ravens. But I'm encouraged when I look at it. Hopefully we can get Jordan Phillips back. I mean, not Jordan Phillips. I mean, Ed Oliver back. Limited, man. We need him. We need Mitch Morse. I want to talk about that too today, a little bit later on. Mitch Morse, man. How important is that guy, right? Just how important has Mitch Morse been to this Buffalo Bills offensive line, right? I mean, just good old reliable, Mr. Consistent himself. Yo, is it possible that Mitch Morse is the most important player on the offense? Well, let me say that like the second most, right? Behind Josh Allen. Man, I'm with you, Don. Like Don says, he says, we need Mitch. Absolutely. We absolutely need Mitch. He is so incredibly important to this offense because we saw what happened last game, right? When he was out, it was a whole different thing, man. Entirely different ball game. And we can talk about it, and just kind of blow it off, if you want to, but that center to quarterback exchange is highly important, right? You just can't throw anybody there. I mean, Greg Van Roten, he did what he could, but you know what I'm saying? It just wasn't clean. He and Josh, they just weren't on the same page. And then he went down, and then so you had to bring in Greg Mance. It just wasn't a good thing. So hopefully we can get Mitch Morse back because we need him for this game. Dawson Knox, we need him healthy, man. We need Gabe Davis. Was it me or did it look like Gabe Davis last week, man? Just didn't seem like he was fully healthy. He just didn't seem like he was himself. It seems like he may have been rushed into duty because, considering, the injuries and how important it was just to make sure we had as many of Josh's weapons available as possible. But he just didn't look like himself. I don't know. Maybe he just had an off game. Maybe he was fully healthy and had an off game. I don't know. I mean, it's quite possible guys have that. But I'm encouraged with him. Hopefully he's recovering well, and he can come back for this game fully healthy because we need everybody. We definitely need everybody. I see somebody in here talking about stomach flu going around. Where's this at? Just the process says your stomach flu going around. Had it for 2 weeks. Okay. Scott Blakely, I appreciate that. He says it's a non-COVID illness for Deion Dawkins, so he has a cold. All right, that's encouraging, right? That's good. So he should be back. He should be back in a day or two. We'll see. But if that's all it was, and I expect him to be back. That's good. So we need these guys. We need every last one of them, as many as we can, right? As many as we can. We need them back fully healthy. And oh my gosh, how much do we need Jordan Poyer? Oh man, we need Jordan Poyer. It's one thing to be without your all-pro safety Micah Hyde. And God bless Micah Hyde, man. I'm praying for him. Prayers up, man, for him that he can make a full recovery next year and all that, and can come back in full strength, man. But it's one thing to be without Micah Hyde, right? And I get it. You know what I'm saying? We look at that depth and we say, you know what? Hey, man, Jaquan Johnson and these guys, hey, kudos to them, man. They do the best that they can. But at the end of the day, these guys are starters for a reason, right? They're all pros for a reason. We can't expect there not to be some type of a drop off when other guys are coming in. Granted, we have a great scheme, we have a great system, right? That kind of covers a lot of these blemishes, so to speak, when guys are injured. And they played admirably. I'm not here to talk badly about Jaquan Johnson or DeMar Hamlin. They did what they could. And considering the task that they were faced with, defending Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, they did a very good job, especially within the scheme. The entire secondary did very good, outside of a couple of plays here and there. But still, you can't just easily replace an all-pro safety, right? So it was bad enough that we were without Micah Hyde. But then when Jordan Poyer came up on the injury list and was like, yo, he's not going to be out. He's going to be out. That's first team all-pro. It's hard to recover from that. It really is. And so hopefully, man, Jordan Poyer can get back healthy with a foot injury and is ready to go for the Ravens matchup, because they have some weapons. I know. When you think about the Baltimore Ravens, the first thing you think about is their run game. But I got news for you. If you ain't seen Lamar Jackson this year, you need to watch him, because this guy is playing like he's on a mission. He's on a mission to make that money, for one, but he's like, he's got chips on all over his shoulders. Chips, and they gave him some weapons, and the guy he's balling out this year. Got to give it to him, man. I love Lamar Jackson. Much respect to Lamar Jackson, and really that entire Ravens organization. Those guys, man, are top notch, and have been that way for a number of years. Man, from the top to the bottom. Man, John Harbaugh, very good head coach. And so kudos to those guys, man. It's going to be a very good matchup. But I love Lamar Jackson. So whenever people are talking about Lamar and they try to talk about him in a negative light, talking about him like, he's just running back, or he's a wide receiver, he ain't this and that, he's not that, and he can't throw the ball, all he can do is run. Look, you guys miss me with all that. Miss me with all of that. What else does Lamar Jackson have to prove to you guys? The guy is an elite level quarterback. He is. And he's proven it this year. He's proven it, and we're going to talk about that. We're definitely going to talk about that. No doubt. But man, it's good to be with you guys here. It's good to be with you guys here today. But you know what? As we start this show, I wanted to get into some things. I'm not going to recap last week, but I did want to bring up some observations. But before I get into some observations, I do want to talk about an addition that was made to the Buffalo Bills roster just yesterday, and that is the addition of the wily veteran Xavier Rhodes. No relation, or maybe he's related. I don't know. Xavier Rhodes coming on, signing up with the Buffalo Bills yesterday to help a wounded secondary that's in need of some veteran leadership and some veteran stability, right? I mean, we're without Tre'Davious White. We're not too sure how long Trey's going to be out, but we could expect him to be out, at least through the bye week. And so we've been playing Dane Jackson and the combination of both of our rookie corners, but then Dane Jackson was out, right? And so he missed the game. So we had both of our corners playing last week, but then Christian Benford broke his hand, and so he's been out. So he's out. So now we're sitting here with the Dane Jackson, whom we're easing into the fold, right? Coming off of that injury. We don't want to just throw him in there, guns a-blazing, you know what I'm saying? And just, no, we have to ease him in there. And so we have him, Kyer Elam, rookie cornerback, and some other guys, right? Cam Lewis and the other guys that are on the squad. Ingram, who got significant playing time last week. But that's just not something that you want to go into this game with, right? You want to shore up your depth to the best of your ability. And so it was no surprise that Brandon Beane thought, you know what, I've got to add a guy to this roster. I have to add a veteran to this roster, but not just any veteran, but somebody who is familiar with this scheme. And so introducing to the Buffalo Bills, we have Xavier Rhodes, who's very familiar with the scheme because he played underneath our defensive coordinator / assistant head coach Leslie Frazier back in Minnesota. So he knows everything there is to know about Leslie Frazier. I don't expect him to take a long time at all getting acclimated to the defense. There may be some different nuances that he has to learn, maybe some different language. I'm not too sure, but he has a good solid foundation because he's been playing. He played with or under, I should say, Leslie Frazier in his defense for a number of years while Frazier was the head coach in Minnesota. This defense now, granted, is probably a mixture of Frazier's defense and Sean McDermott. But I don't think it's going to be difficult for Xavier Rhodes to pick up on it. He's a veteran. He's been in the league 10 years now, and so I think that was a very, very smart move by Brandon Beane. And so, man, we got a good one now. When I watched him, he had his little I don't want to call it a press conference, but he was being interviewed, in the locker room when he came to Buffalo. And he was talking about him being recruited, right, by Bills players. Who recruited him? I'm trying to remember his name. Was it Stephon? Was it Diggs? Did he say Diggs recruited him? I think it was Diggs. I know he played with Diggs in Minnesota, but I think it was Diggs. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, in the chat. Let me know who it was. But he did say that he was recruited, and so I mean that's good, man. That goes to show you, first of all, man, we've got a great group of guys in the locker room, and they understand talent and they understand character, right? And Xavier Rhodes, man, he is no different, right? This guy, you can tell guys who are cut from the Buffalo Bills cloth, right? Even though they may have spent the majority of their career on another team, it's like a perfect fit, man. It's like they fit like a glove. When they come here, if they're the right guys, they just slide right in and they fit perfectly. And Xavier Rhodes, Poyer, there you go. Thank you, Stephen. Yeah, thank you. Jordan Poyer. And I'm sure, no doubt, King, that it was Diggs as well. So Diggs and Poyer, because Diggs played with him. But yeah, it was Jordan Poyer that he had mentioned specifically, recruiting him because he works out with him in the offseason down there in South Florida. That's what it was. Thanks for jogging my memory, for reminding me. But yeah, so he just fits, right? I mean, early impressions, right? He just seems to fit like a glove. And it helps out when you have a great locker room that like the Buffalo Bills do. And so I'm expecting Xavier Rhodes not only to fit in nicely, but I'm expecting him to get called upon this week. I am. I know there may be some people who think that he's probably going to be inactive, or if he is activated, he may not do anything this week. I find it hard to believe that when you consider the fact that Christian Benford is out for a few weeks with a broken hand, right? Then you got Dane Jackson being eased into the fold, that you would sign a guy like Xavier Rhodes only to deactivate him this week and see if he plays the following week, right? When Dane Jackson will likely be fully healthy and fully ready to go, because then otherwise it's like, well, then what's the purpose? So I think he's gonna get some playing time this week. How much? I'm not too sure yet. It's very early in the week, but because he's familiar with the scheme and the system, I wouldn't be surprised if he sees a good chunk of time as we face the Baltimore Ravens. Now, I do want to say this. I want to temper our expectations, though. Right? I want to temper our expectations about what we can expect out of Xavier Rhodes on the field. I mean, there's no question he's not the same guy that he once was when he was in his prime, right? But you never know, man, how guys perform. You just never know. You never know, man. Change the scenery, get in a scheme, man, that fits him well. He could surprise some guys, man. You know what I'm saying? He may dip into the fountain of youth. You never know. You never know what a guy will look like I'm encouraged about him, though. I love the addition of him. I was team Joe Hayden, but I don't know why I wasn't even thinking about Xavier Rhodes. But when word was out that he was visiting the Bills, I was like, oh yeah, that guy's gonna be good. Because when you look at him though, just the eyeball test, right? You look at Xavier Rhodes, he's a big physical cornerback. Right? He is a big guy, and we're thinking about who is he replacing? Who is he stepping in for? Right? Obviously, you got Dane Jackson coming back slowly, but Christian Benford, right? Christian Benford is a big guy, but when you have Xavier Rhodes, man, Xavier Rhodes is 6'1", 6'1", 6'1". Is it 6'1"? No, hold on a second, because now I'm looking at NFL. Yeah, 6'1", 6'1", 210. He's a big cornerback. He's a big cornerback, and so you've got that physical nature that you're missing out of a Christian Benford, and so it makes sense to add a guy like Xavier Rhodes, who we know throughout his career has been a physical cornerback. He's a press man corner, but I do believe that he could play some zone. We'll see how he fits into this particular scheme as he gets playing time, hopefully this week. But he's a physical guy, man. He's a physical guy, and he still has that grown man strength at the end of the day, which is gonna bode well. And he's a tackler. He is a tackler. So I'm excited about him. I'm excited to see what Xavier Rhodes is going to bring to the table. But just from a veteran stability standpoint, of nothing more than that, right? But you know what else I'm excited about, man? I am excited to welcome Don Handsome to the Bing squad. Yo, Don, appreciate you, man. He is a new member to the squad. Yo, I'm not Rico. I don't have a bell. But yo, kudos, brother. Welcome to the squad, man. I appreciate you for joining. Don Handsome, new member. Everybody who is tuning in right now live, everybody who's in the chat, do me this favor, man. Yo, drop some mics for Don Handsome. Give him some love and welcome him to the squad. Let's go. So yeah, Xavier Rhodes, man, is going to be good, I think, for us. And it gives us a little bit of like breathing room, right? When you just look at the depth or lack thereof in the secondary, when you're able to bring in a guy like Xavier Rhodes, it at least lets you exhale a little bit, right? A little sigh of relief. You're like, phew, okay, right? We're not in as bad of a shape as we thought, but at the end of the day, man, he's there. And if Dane Jackson comes back and he proves to be fully healthy, and man, Xavier Rhodes is just there, on the sideline, man, or just in the locker room, hey, I'm all for it, because just the you can't underestimate his value, man. Just a 10-year vet like that who's been there, done that. We have a young cornerback room already as it is. We got two rookies that have been getting significant playing time in the first 3 weeks of the season already. Dane Jackson is a young cornerback as well, and so a guy like Xavier Rhodes can only help this cornerback room. But what say you, man? How do you guys feel about the addition of Xavier Rhodes? How do you guys feel about him? I'm looking through the chat here. Where is it at? Okay, so Matt Ward comes in and says, yo, Xavier Rhodes is mid. That's why he was a free agent. Yeah, I mean, I get it, man. I get it. I'm not, like I said, I'm tempering my expectations, and we have to temper our expectations. I'm not saying that he's garbage. I'm not going to say that. I'm not saying that he's, not going to be able to help us out in any fashion whatsoever. But you just never know, man. You just never know. When a guy comes in, he gets a phone call, and he gets an opportunity. You never know, especially when he's familiar with the system, like Leslie Frazier's. So yeah, I'm excited about it. We'll see. If anything, like I mentioned earlier, man, I'm just encouraged and more or less, I'm relieved that at least in that particular position room, we can breathe a little bit. We have a little bit of breathing room, right? But now let's hope that and pray, man, that we get Jordan Poyer back to really make things much more comfortable, right? Much more comfortable. Raven 187, he says, yo, Xavier is a smart player. think he can transition into safety if needed. It will help coach up the rookies. Absolutely, especially that he's a smart player. 10 years in the league, you can't discredit that, right? He's been in the league that long for a reason. He's a good player. He's smart. But then the fact that he can help coach up the rookies, that's what's needed, right? That's what's needed. And then especially when you look at his skill set, right? Xavier Rhodes is a physical press man cornerback. That's been his ammo, right? Who else do we have on the roster right now? A young cornerback who's a physical press man cornerback. Kaiir Elam, right? Kaiir Elam coming out of Florida, a physical press man cornerback who struggled at times, right? He's been kind of handsy, a little grabsy, right? Do you think that the addition of Xavier Rhodes would help a guy like Kaiir Elam learn how to use his physicality to his advantage without getting caught, without getting in trouble, right? Without catching these flags? You know what I'm saying? I think you can only bode well for Kaiir Elam, learning from a guy like Xavier Rhodes, a big physical cornerback in himself, teaching him different technique. It's one thing to be taught, you know what I'm saying, from your positional coach, but when you have other players, especially veterans, who have been there and done that in the league, been successful in the league, especially a guy like Xavier Rhodes, these rookies are going to eat it up. They're going to eat it up, man, because Kaiir Elam already has Trey White teaching him the ropes. So Kaiir Elam has got the best of both worlds, man. He's learning how to be a pro and learning the ins and outs of playing zone in this scheme by Trey White, right, who's been there the entire time as he's been rehabbing his injury. But now you add in a guy like Xavier Rhodes, who's a physical press man corner, teaching him those techniques and those skills as well. This guy's going to be well-rounded. So I'm talking about Kaiir Elam here. So I'm definitely encouraged. Who when it talks about, get Vontae Davis, get out of here with that. Get out of here with that. But anyway, yeah, it's encouraging, man. It definitely is encouraging. But I want to move on with the show because as I mentioned, we've got a lot to talk about tonight. We're definitely going to get into the Ravens matchup and talk about how important this game is for the Buffalo Bills. And why this is a must-win game for the team. But before we get into that, I do want to talk about some early Bills observations. I've got some early observations, man. As 3 weeks in, this is, entering the fourth week here. There's been some things that I've noticed, some things that I've looked at throughout, the early parts of the season that I want to shed some light on. And I want you guys, as you guys are watching, those who are watching live, let me know in the chat. And even if you're listening to this, I'm saying on podcast format, hey, dude, look, you can always come back to the replay and comment in the video, or you can always go to our page, go to supportbf.com, follow us on all of our social media platforms, whatever, and just drop a comment, man. Shoot us a DM, whatever. Follow me on Twitter @RatedRev. You know what I'm saying? And say, yo, Rev, these are my thoughts. I wasn't able to watch you live, but I heard you on the podcast. These are my thoughts. These are my observations about the Buffalo Bills so far, 3.5 going on 4 weeks into the season. Let me know, man. I want to hear from you. I definitely want to hear from you as I get a sip of some good old cold beverage there. So, observation number one for me, and this is a big one. This is a big one for me, because, man, there's been some high expectations of the Bills, right? High expectations of the Bills going into this season, right? I mean, we already know it. Entering the offseason, there was a whole lot of hype and a whole lot of talk about the Bills being number one in power rankings and being the favorites, not just to make it to the Super Bowl, but to actually win the Super Bowl. And so the Bills entered into the season with a whole lot of pressure, right? A whole lot of pressure. And for the most part, the first couple of weeks in, it seemed like it didn't faze the Bills whatsoever, right? They went in, handled business week one against the defending Super Bowl champion Los Angeles Rams, put a beat down on them 31-10, and then backed it up in week two with their season opener against the former number one AFC seed Tennessee Titans, beat the absolute living daylights out of them at home, and then entered into week 3 and lost against the Dolphins. Okay, lost against the Dolphins. But through those 3 weeks, especially when I looked at last week in particular, really made me just like, hold on a second, what is going on here? What is going on here? And so I looked at last week's game and just looked at lips, and I went to look to the Titans and the Rams game, and I'm looking and I'm like, yo, I'm starting to see a trend here. I know it's early, but I'm curious to know. And here's my early season observation number 1, which is a big one. Is there too much on Josh Allen's plate? Is there too much on Josh Allen's plate? Let me know what you think right now in the comment section. Let me know in the chat. And then, as I mentioned, if you're listening to this on podcast version format, drop me a chat, drop me a message, a DM, hit me up, whatever the case may be, because I want to hear you guys' thoughts on it. Is it too much on Josh Allen's plate? I know there's a lot of opinions about this, right? A lot of people talk about it. They say, yo, I want more of Josh, right? It's like they just can't get enough of Josh Allen. Like Josh Allen, and I get it, Josh Allen has reached the level of superstardom in this league. And we have been firsthand witnesses to the growth and development of Josh Allen ever since he came out of Wyoming and became the Bills' number 7 overall draft pick in 2018. Despite a lot of people who didn't want him drafted, myself included, I wanted the other Josh. But I'm not afraid to admit that I was incredibly wrong, and I'm glad that I was wrong. But we saw his development, right? We saw him from 2018, and we heard all the talk, right? All the people, all the naysayers talking about how awful of a pick that was, and how awful Josh Allen is, and how inaccurate of a quarterback he is, and he's got a lot of work to do, and I don't think there's any hope for him. And everybody was just talking about him and just poo-pooing on him, right? But then you see him, as a rookie, and you're like, well, I mean, some of it is warranted, right? Some of it is warranted, but they just were willing to put the nail in the man's coffin as a rookie that he just wasn't going to be any good. When we saw the slow progression, the slow development of Josh Allen over the course of 5 years now, and Josh has made such tremendous strides in his performance over the years that now, which is funny now, people are trying to make those comparisons, with other quarterbacks. They're trying to say, well, my quarterback, wasn't, isn't all that good, as in his rookie year. But when you look at Josh Allen, there's hope, right? So now a guy that was essentially crapped on from the moment he was drafted to now 5 years in, he's now being elevated to the point to where people are now using him as a barometer, right? As a standard for their quarterbacks. I think it's funny, right? When people do this. Look, there's only one Josh Allen, right? You're just not going to be able to find him. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, no matter how hard these people try, you're not going to be able to say that, my quarterback, though he struggled in year 1, I have hope because Josh Allen did it. Maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't happen. You know what I'm saying? But he's a unicorn in that sense, right? And so it's no wonder that us as Bills fans, we get so excited about him, right? We get excited about his performance. We get excited about seeing him. We've seen his growth. We've seen his development up close. We want to see more of him, right? 2020, he had an MVP caliber season all the way to the AFC Championship game, almost seemingly out of nowhere, just tremendous jump, right? Tremendous leap. And then he backed it up again the following year, last year, had another MVP caliber season. And it seems like every year he just gets better and better and better and better and better. And this year, it seems like he's getting better as well. It's like, how much better can this man get? But it does bring me some concern. Not his ability. I'm not concerned with his ability at all. But what I am concerned about is his responsibility. You hear me? The amount of responsibility that Josh Allen has on his plate playing for the Buffalo Bills is a lot. It is a lot. We talk about players carrying their team on the shoulders and carrying their city on the shoulders. Look, Josh Allen is carrying all of it. He is carrying all of it. He's carrying all of it. And I'm wondering, like, is it too much? Is it too much? Is it a recipe for success? Right? When you look at how much Josh Allen is tasked with week in and week out, having to will his team to victory almost every week. Is it too much? Is it a recipe for success? Because people say, "Yo, Rev, yo, man, give Josh Allen the ball. Do not take the ball out of Josh Allen's hands." And I get where people are coming from when they say that, but is it a recipe? Is it really a recipe for success or a recipe for burnout? Oh man, that was so good. I got to repeat myself. Is it a recipe for success or is it a recipe for burnout? Think about it for a moment. Think about it. And go back, if you will, to a guy who is in many ways comparable to Josh Allen, especially directly as it relates to Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane. And the guy I'm talking about is Cam Newton. It's Cam Newton. Now, before you say, Rev, Josh is way better than Cam Newton, look, that's not what I'm talking about here. That's not what I'm talking about. Look at the archetype of these players, right? And then look at when they came onto the teams and they came on, how much responsibility was placed on their shoulders. Look at Cam Newton over the years. He exploded onto the scene. The NFL had not seen the likes of a player like Cam Newton, 6'5", 245, running guy, mowing people over at the quarterback position. A cannon of an arm, throwing it a country mile, laser arm, deadly accurate. The guy was incredible. Say what you want about Cam Newton, but man, when Cam Newton came out of Auburn, he took the league by storm. MVP season. Took his team to the Super Bowl. Cam Newton was a phenomenal quarterback with the Carolina Panthers, especially when he was in his prime. But because of his physical nature, because the guy was so big and so fast, they used him a lot. Not only was he, tasked with being, the franchise quarterback and putting up ungodly numbers, man, to guys like Steve Smith Sr. and other players, but he was also, in many cases, in many respects, their running back. He was the Carolina Panthers running back. He was their running game. He was their quarterback. He was all of that, right? And he was successful doing it for a short while. People looked at him and was like, yo, he's a robot. He's a brick, 6'5", 245, 250. You know what I'm saying? But over the course of time, that physical nature that he played with and that the Panthers expected him to play with, it took a toll on him. It took a toll on his body. His usage was just ridiculous. And it affected him. We saw it throughout as the years progressed. We saw injury after injury after injury, right? To the point to where he was a shell of himself. Got dealt from the Panthers, went to the Patriots. We saw what that looked like. The guy couldn't even throw the ball 10 yards down the field, man. He just wasn't himself anymore. Shoulder shot, got beat up. Got absolutely beat up. And you say, Rev, but that's not going to be Josh Allen. Are you sure? How can you be so sure? Because when I look at it, when I look at the production that Josh Allen is putting up, it's hard for me not to make that comparison. It's extremely hard for me not to make that comparison. And because look, Josh Allen already 3 games into the season, we hadn't even touched our matchup And mind you, Josh Allen spent at least an entire quarter of football sitting on the sidelines eating sunflower seeds. Okay? Let me preface that. Let me preface what I'm about to say with that. So far, 3 games into the season, Josh Allen already accounts for over 1,100 yards of total offense, 10 total touchdowns, and has passed the ball 132 times. 132 times. Last week against the Dolphins, my man had over 60 pass attempts in blazing, scorching South Florida heat at the brink of probably heat exhaustion. And they had that man throwing the ball 60 times. 60, that's ridiculous. That's absurd. That's an absurd amount of pass attempts. 132 pass attempts in 3 games played so far, minus, I guess you can say, really say 2.5 games, or you know what I'm saying? Because he spent over at least a good quarter or more sitting on the sidelines. 1,127 yards of total offense by Josh Allen, 10 touchdowns, 132 pass attempts. But that's not all, ladies and gentlemen. Josh Allen leads the team again. Like, what else is new? He leads his team in rushing yards already. He's 19 for 113 rushing yards so far. You look at the rest of the running backs, the guys who should be getting the ball. Motor Singletary, second place. He's RB1, second place. He's 23 attempts for 80 yards. Zach Moss, 13 for 78. Our second round pick, James Cook, 13 for 58. But here is Josh Allen once again leading the team in rushing. Like, when is enough enough? You know what I'm saying? When is enough for Josh Allen already? I get it. He is an incredible player. One of the elite quarterbacks in the National Football League right now. Absolutely. Top 5 quarterback. You can argue top 3 if you want to. Top 5 NFL quarterback right now. Josh Allen. Young but superstar quarterback. Tremendous talent. 6'5", 240. We know he can throw the ball a country mile. Has incredible arm strength. Has developed accuracy that people who poo-pooed on him never thought he would be able to develop. Right? Can run like a deer. Run linebackers over. Who does that sound like? Who does that sound like? It sounds a whole lot like Cam Newton to me. A whole lot like Cam Newton to me. A whole lot. But yet and still, we got people wanting to see more and more of Josh Allen. And I look back to that Miami Dolphins game, the end of the game. And I've said this before. I've made mention of it, and we all seen it. Just that shot right at the end of the game when he and Tua, greeted each other at the end of the game, and Josh laid in the arms and the shoulder of Tua, and Tua was just consoling him, right, just like patting him. I talked about how bad those optics look, right? I'm like, and I've said it. I said to myself, I'm like, you look, man, that's a bad look for Josh. He don't need to be laying on Tua like that, man. This is a team that he's owned. This is a bad look, Josh. You need to do that at home or do that in the locker room. I was a little callous about the situation, but without understanding the fact of the matter is, this guy just poured his heart and soul into that game, understanding the conditions that he was faced with, right? The weather conditions that he was faced with. The guy, no doubt, had to be exhausted at the point of extreme exhaustion. When the offense was on the field, how many plays? 90-something plays on offense? Josh Allen threw the ball 60 times that game in that type of conditions, under those circumstances. under the circumstances where he had to put the team on his shoulder because of so many guys across his offensive line getting injured, running for his life. I mean, that man was exhausted. So it's no wonder. No wonder when he came to it, he just laid his head down. Bro was tired. He was about to pass out. He was about to pass out. Absolutely. But it was more than just that game. It was a picture of exhaustion in my eyes, of having to carry this team, especially this offense, on his shoulders week in and week out. When is somebody else going to step up? I know we've got Stephon Diggs, and Diggs is off to a great start as well. But I'm not talking about just that. I'm not talking about just that. How can you ensure that Josh is not tasked with the ability or tasked with the responsibility of carrying the team on his shoulders? How do you do it? How do you do it? Well, I'll tell you what. Head coach Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane, they talked a big game in the offseason about their plans. But what have we seen so far? What were their plans? Let me tell you. Let me tell you their plans. At the combine, if you remember carefully, at the combine, both Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane had press conferences at the combine, right? And at that particular time, they had made some additions. Sean McDermott specifically had made additions to his coaching staff, hiring Joe Brady to be his new quarterback coach, right? We knew that he had hired or promoted Ken Dorsey to be the offensive coordinator, but then he added Aaron Kromer to be the offensive line coach. Once Bobby Johnson left to be the O-line coach with Brian Dable in New York. But what was said at that conference? What was said during this press conference? At the combine press conference, Sean McDermott said this. He said, in reference to the offensive coaching additions, he said that it gives him the chance to reset and rebrand themselves. Adding guys like Joe Brady, Ken Dorsey, but specifically Aaron Kromer, as a question was asked, he said it gives him the chance offensively to reset and rebrand. And then we remember hearing Brandon Beane talk about their goal of protecting Josh Allen with an improved offensive line, which is what we saw him doing, which is why he was so aggressive in getting Roger Saffold, right? One of his top key free agent acquisitions in free agency this year, adding a guy like him, bringing back Ryan Bates to solidify the offensive line, right? Getting rid of Darrell Williams, John Feliciano, right? And so that was the goal. That was a goal. Improve the offensive line, but then on top of that, to have a more balanced offensive approach. I know I can hear you guys already talk about how we don't need balance. Why do we need balance when we got Josh Allen? And when Josh Allen is freaking accounting for over 1,100 yards of offense, the guy threw for 60 plus times last week. He's got 10 touchdowns, 132 pass attempts, leads the team in rushing. Do you think the guy needs it? Can the guy get some help? You know what I'm saying? You mean to tell me he doesn't need, he's not asking for balance? You don't think he wants balance? Sean McDermott was talking about it. That's what he wanted. He wanted a balanced approach to offense. But 3 games into the season already, it seems as though that is not happening. It seems like it's not happening. And Brian Bowers, man, look, hey, I don't know, man. I don't know. Brian Bowers comes in and says, yo, I'm convinced that McDermott is the reason why we don't run with the backs. I can't believe 2 different offensive coordinators and O-line coaches refuse to run with the running backs and use Josh Allen. And I don't know, Brian. I mean, I really don't. It baffles me here. It really baffles me. I am utterly confused. I don't get it. And I was one to blame Brian Dable and blame Bobby Johnson, like, oh, well, maybe he just wasn't, that good of an O-line coach. But now in New York, they don't seem to have a problem running the ball. Now, I get it. They got Saquon Barkley. So when you have a guy like Saquon Barkley, it helps. So maybe, is it possible that the reason why Brian Daboll and company didn't run the ball so much last year is because they didn't have anybody that you know what I'm saying, in the backfield that they trusted? Maybe it's the same thing this year so far, huh? Maybe Aaron Cromer's like, or maybe Ken Dorsey's like, yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know, man. There's so many questions there. So many questions. It doesn't make any sense. Is it coaching, right? Is it Ken Dorsey? Is it scheme? Is it philosophy from him? Is it the O-line? Is it Aaron Cromer? Has he taken a step back? You know what I'm saying? Or is it the running backs? Like, what is the problem? Why is it that
Buffalo Fanatics, what's going on? This is Pierre the Kingpin, and I wanted to talk to you today about Cigars International, which is the ultimate destination for premium homemade cigars. Known as the industry leader, Cigars International offers the largest selection, unbeatable prices, and a customer service experience that's second to none. Whether you're new to cigars or a seasoned vet, Cigars International makes enjoying cigars easy, approachable, and fun. Cigars International is the go-to retailer for all things cigars, with the biggest selection of premium homemade cigars available anywhere. Cigars International offers unbeatable deals and discounts, making it easy to stock up on your favorite or try something new without breaking the bank. With fast free shipping and their 100% satisfaction guarantee, you can shop with confidence knowing that Cigars International stands behind every order. They have good relationship with vendors that helps provide great low prices. Whether you're new to cigars or a seasoned pro, Cigars International makes it easy to find the right cigar with helpful guides, staff reviews, and expert advice. It's not just about cigars. Cigars International also offers a wide range of accessories and more to elevate your smoking experience. Check out the great deals every day at cigarsinternational.com. That's cigars, CIGARS, international.com. Use code FANATICS at checkout for 20% off your order of $50 or more, plus free shipping. Or visit www.cigarsinternational.com/fanatics, and the discount will automatically apply. Again, use code FANATICS at checkout for 20% off your order of $50 or more, plus free shipping. Or visit www.cigarsinternational.com/fanatics, and the discount will automatically apply.
we can't run the ball for nothing? We have zero running game. And you sit here and you look at your quarterback and you say, well, because we have Josh Allen on the team, on the roster, we don't need to run the ball. Are you kidding me? You want to burn this guy out? Because that's what it's looking like, because that's exactly how it's looking. 17-game season. My man is already exhausted last week. And you're going to put that on the shoulders again and again and again and again, and then continue to, and then expect him, you know what I'm saying, assuming we make the playoffs, expect him to turn it up another notch and will this team to the Super Bowl and will this team to win it? Come on now. Like, at what point do we just say, look, I get it. Josh Allen is incredible. He's an incredible talent. He's a unicorn. But if we're not careful, we are going to beat this man to death. And I say that tongue in cheek, right? I'm not talking literally. I'm saying figuratively, right? Like, this guy's we're gonna beat this horse to where he has nothing left. We can't do that, man. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. And Silas Willow comes in with the super chat. Silas, I appreciate you, man. He says, yo, Rev, they have to get the run game going. And I agree 1,000%. They have to. He goes on to say, I think it's more an O-line issue. They need to develop chemistry. They've only played 6 quarters together. You may have a point. They may have a point, right? And granted, this whole offseason, right? We never got to see the O-line, at least the starting 5 O-linemen playing together the offseason, right? Because they were hurt. A lot of them were hurt, so they didn't get healthy until like the final preseason game. And so, yeah, that you may have a valid point, Silas. I don't know, man. But it seems like, to me, the only way, because you mentioned, they've only played 6 games, they need to develop chemistry. Well, how do you develop chemistry apart from running the ball? You know what I'm saying? Like the chemistry is just not going to develop, you know what I'm saying, like out of thin air. It's just not going to magically appear one day. You have to get the reps in. Well, where are these reps coming from? Practice only? No, you get in-game reps, man. You've got to practice it. And you have to be willing to sacrifice some things here. And here's what I'm talking about. Here's what I'm talking about, what you have to be willing to sacrifice. If you're trying to develop the O-line chemistry because you missed out on that in training camp and in the preseason due to injuries, and you're trying to develop that chemistry and get these guys on the same page, and you think that that's the issue with the O-line and with the running game, then you have to be willing to sacrifice big numbers, right? Or high scoring attempts, you know what I'm saying? To develop the run game. You can't run the ball 10 times a game and expect you to have some chemistry running the rock. And then while we're on this topic, can we please, I mean please, I don't know, I don't have the influence, but maybe somebody out there does. If you can get a hold of Sean McDermott or the coaches, can you please tell them, pass this message along to them? Enough with Zach Moss. I don't want to see Zach Moss. I don't want to see this 3-man running back committee. I don't want to see it at all. Pick a guy, for crying out loud. Stick with him. How do you expect a running back to get in the groove of the game when he only has a handful of carries? And you're subbing him in and out with another guy. Come on, man. Like, really? And why is it that why is it also that we are content with having this 3-headed running back by committee when our offensive philosophy does not lend itself to that type of a run game anyway? We're not a run-first team. We're not the Tennessee Titans. We're not the New York Giants, right? We're not the Cleveland Browns. We're not these guys with workhorse backs where the entire offense is geared around the running back and the running game. We know it's geared around the pass game. And the run game should supplement the pass, right? So why the need for a committee? Are you telling me that Motor can't handle 15 carries a game? You mean to tell me he can't handle that? Come on, it makes absolutely. I'm confused. Somebody educate me like I'm a 5th grader. Make it make sense to me. Make it make sense to me. I don't get it. I do not get it one bit. I'm with you, Paul. It blows my mind too. It blows my mind too, man. He says, it blows my mind when I see Motor running well and then see Moss get the next 2 runs up the middle and get no gain. Makes no sense. Abso-freaking-lutely. Makes no sense. Makes no sense. So here's my suggestion. My suggestion is this, and I ain't no coach, I'm no GM, so take it with a grain of salt. This is my observation as a fan. I think that the offense needs to move to a systematic approach on offense. And here's what I mean by that. When you look at the defense is not built on any one man. It's built on a collective. I'm talking about the Bills defense, that is. It's built on a collective. You can't single out one man on the defensive side of the ball and say, this guy is the engine that runs the entire defense. Without him, we're done. And I get it. We're talking about the quarterback position, so you can't really compare it like that to a degree. I get it. Your quarterback is the most important position on the field. I understand that. But here's what I'm saying. When you look at our defense, it's why they can lose 2 all-pro safeties an all-pro cornerback in Trey White, lose multiple players across the defensive line, start 2 rookie cornerbacks and 2 backup safeties, and keep 2 of the top 5 wide receivers basically in check for most of last week's game. It's the system. And Sean McDermott always talks about, it's do your 111th, right? Do your 111th. It's the system. It's the system. Well, where's the system on offense? Why is the system on offense named Josh Allen? You know what I'm saying? Like, where are the other guys carrying their part? Where are the other guys doing their 111th? Huh? Well, how come Motor ain't doing his 111th? Or maybe he's trying, but the coaching staff ain't letting him. I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to figure it out because it makes no sense, man. And Silas comes in with another super chat. He says, look, can we stop using? I just said that, man. I agree. Can we stop using Moss into the game? Singletary should have no less than 12 to 15 carries a game. We have elite athletes on the line. Get them in space. Silas, I'm glad that you mentioned the O-line. I'm so glad you mentioned the O-line, man. So glad. And I'm going to talk about that because that's exactly what we need to talk about and exactly what we need to focus on. Get Zach Moss out of there. Get him out. The only time I want to see Zach Moss is maybe at the goal line. Maybe in the fourth quarter, we got a lead. We want to run the clock out a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Play that 4th minute offense. Devin Singletary needs a blow because he's been running a lot. That's it. All of this in and out stuff, miss me with all that. Pick a running back. Make sure you pick the right one for that matter. And stick with it. If all you're expecting your running backs to get collectively, when you look at it, is about 15 attempts a game, let Motor handle that. Let him get into a groove. Let the O-line get into a groove, man. Jeez, they cannot, and I repeat, they cannot continue to rely so heavily on Josh Allen. They can't do it. They cannot do it. They can't continue to rely on Josh Allen, who currently leads the NFL in passing yards, is number 2 in touchdowns and interceptions, and 3rd in QBR. Watch this. All the while leading his team in rushing, and expect him not to show signs of wear and tear or just sheer burnout at some point throughout the 17-game season, not even including the playoffs when you expect him to turn it up another notch. Right now, when you look at Josh Allen's numbers, and it looks great. It looks fantastic on paper. But I don't know how any human being can survive this. Josh Allen right now is on pace for, listen to this, 533 for 748. I'm talking about completions to passing attempts. 533 completions to 748 passing attempts. 5,746 passing yards. Let me say that again. Josh Allen is on pace to pass for 5,746 yards. Pass for 51 touchdowns, rush for 640 yards, have 5 rushing touchdowns, 11 interceptions, and to have a 109.8 rating. Think about that. Let that soak in for a minute. Let that marinate for a second. If Josh Allen continues his pace and happens to pass for over 5,700 yards, he will shatter the NFL record for most passing yards in a season that's currently being held by Peyton Manning, the 2013 MVP, who had 5,477 yards while with the Broncos. But get this. When Peyton Manning broke the record, the passing record, which still stands to this day, you say, well, Peyton Manning had 5,400 yards. Rev, what are you talking about? Here's the difference. That same year, the Denver Broncos also had a running back by the name of Noshawn Moreno, who ran for 1,000 yards that year. He ran for 1,038 yards, had 10 touchdowns, and 548 receiving yards and 3 receiving touchdowns. That offense was balanced. You had a passer, an elite level passer in Peyton Manning, first ballot Hall of Famer, throw the ball for have 5,400 passing yards, but he also had a 1,000-yard rusher behind him. Come on. Balance. So, look, I don't know what the problem is. I don't know what it is, but whatever the case may be, Dorsey and his offensive staff, they better figure that out ASAP. They better figure it out ASAP. Okay? They better figure it out ASAP. And my second observation, and I'm sorry I spent too much time on that, but my second observation, man, is the Buffalo Bills O-line depth is not as strong as I anticipated. Going back to what Silas had mentioned about the O-line, I want to bring it back up again. Talking about we have elite athletes on the O-line, get them in space. Why don't we do that? When we look at the offensive line right now, we look at across the board, from left to right, Deion Dawkins, Roger Saffold, who, by the way, was talked about by Taylor Lewan on Bustin' with the Boys podcast, right? Taylor Lewan was there. Eric Wood was the guest on the show, and Eric Wood was asking about him because at this time they just added, Roger Saffold, and Eric Wood was asking about Saffold, and Taylor Lewan said, "Yo, he is the best run blocking guard I have seen in my life." So you've got that man. No wonder Brandon Beane picked him up. You've got that man playing left guard. You've got Mitch Morse, one of the most athletic centers in the NFL right now. Mitch Morse. Then you've got Ryan Bates, extremely athletic, right guard. And then you got Spencer Brown, who, if you've seen him and seen tape of him in the run game, 6'8", 300+ pound right tackle, runs like you would not believe, is a mauler in the ground game. Extremely athletic. You've got 5 extremely, supremely athletic offensive linemen who excel in space as run blockers, and yet and still you expect them to sit an entire game, 90 plays, and have Josh Allen throwing the ball for 60 times while this offensive line that's extremely athletic be in pass protection 60+ times a game. Last week, Josh Allen over 130 pass attempts in 3 games, and you have this athletic offensive line in pass protection 132 times. What is wrong with that picture? It seems to me that we're not getting the most out of the offensive line, and we see what happens. They're not the best pass protecting offensive line. They're not. We know that, right? But we get so used to Josh Allen running around and making miracle plays, and we think that, oh, we're good. Josh Allen is covering a multitude of sins, so to speak, right? We can't have that, man. Oh, this is frustrating me, man. I'm getting incredibly frustrated because I don't get it. And Silas doesn't get it either. He comes in with another super chat. So I appreciate it, man. He's like, yo, can we open up running lanes by being aggressive in early downs? In 2020, we threw for 11.5 yards per catch. Our wide receivers can pull linebackers away from the line of scrimmage. From your lips to my ears, Silas, I don't know, man. I don't get it, dude. I just don't get it. It makes no sense to me whatsoever. This line is extremely athletic, man. Get these guys in space. I even remember in 2020, even in there's times in Motor's rookie year. Remember that? Man, we saw, and it wasn't even with this same O-line. We had Mitch Morse, Deion Dawkins. Those guys would pull, man, and lead block. And that's how Devin Singletary in his rookie year had 700 yards rushing. Last year, the tail end of the year, we started doing more of that. This year, what is going on? Now we're content to act like we're this mauling offensive line, run blocking offensive line, and we're gonna be content with running the ball up the gut on first down or whatever the case may be. In second, with Zach Moss up the gut with an athletic O-line. Like, these dudes they're not that type of O-line. They're athletic. And then you bring in Aaron Cromer, who excels in this zone scheme. And then I'm getting frustrated. Figure it out, please. Figure it out. We got to figure out, man, what's going on. We got to figure out what's going on. All right. Geez, man. Somebody help me out. Somebody help me. Somebody help me figure this thing out. Wow, I don't know why, man. It's just frustrating to watch. It really is. It's frustrating to watch. But you know what else? You know what's not frustrating to watch? What's not frustrating to watch is over 190 something of you are watching me live right now, man. Kudos to you guys. I appreciate you so very much for tuning in. There's a whole lot of content creators, man, but the fact that you're spending your time with me means a whole lot. I appreciate you so very, very much. But do me this favor. Since you're in here, smash that like, hit that subscribe button, turn the bell notifications on so that way you can stay up to date with all things Buffalo Bills. Moving along, man. The next, and we're an hour and 12 and some change into the show, and now it's time. The Buffalo Bills, with all these issues going on, right? All these issues going on are set to face the red hot MVP caliber Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens Sunday. Man, oh man. I hope you guys have gotten the Dolphins out of your system. Forget all that. Forget all that. Right here in front of us, we got a dog. We have got a dog in front of us. Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens are hosting the Buffalo Bills in M&T Bank Stadium, Baltimore, Maryland, this Sunday. Have you guys watched that team this year? I know it may be easy to kind of overlook them, especially when you consider how they lost to the Dolphins, but we ain't got no room to talk. We lost to them too. Okay. Granted, we didn't lose in the same fashion, but it doesn't matter. They took an L. We took an L just like they did. But that does not mean they're not an incredible football team. An incredible football team. Led by, in my opinion, one of the top quarterbacks in the National Football League right now. Who needs to get paid, ladies and gentlemen. Needs to get paid. Absolutely needs to get paid. This guy, Lamar Jackson, man, I don't know what more he needs to prove to his organization. The man won an MVP. You know what I'm saying? And he got injured. And it's like people forgot. It's like they forgot who Lamar was. Well, I hope you didn't forget. Because he's letting everybody know. In case you forgot, I'm that man. In case you forgot, I'm that man. And I'm gonna give my man a shout out, man. For everybody who overlooked Lamar Jackson, who said, "Oh, that MVP season, that was a fluke." Lamar, teams are figuring him out. Oh, look, he didn't have that good of a season. Like, look, everybody who may have, put their mouth on Lamar Jackson in the wrong kind of way. Look at this. Don't play yourself. For my man Lamar, don't play yourself. And you probably already did. Because Lamar Jackson has proven himself. He's proven all the haters, all the doubters wrong so far this season. And it is quite possible for us to acknowledge other players and other quarterbacks in the National Football League not named Josh Allen. Let me throw that out there, okay? I know we have Josh Allen. I get it. But can we show some love? Can we show some love, Bills Mafia? Because Lamar Jackson is that dude too. Make no mistake about it. Lamar Jackson, so far this year, man, 63.6% completion percentage. Passing for 749 yards, 10 touchdowns. Same amount of touchdowns as Josh Allen. Doesn't have the same amount of passing yards, but it doesn't matter. Lamar Jackson is doing what he has to do. He's doing what he has to do. And I think he's doing it. Only two interceptions. 119 rating right now for Lamar Jackson. Then on the ground, that guy has, what is it, man? I'm trying to look. I'm trying to do the math. What is that? You got 107. He got 107. against the Patriots, 119 against the Dolphins, and then had a cool 17 yards to start the season against the Jets. My man is running the ball, but he's doing the thing. He is showing us right now that he's that guy. And he's that guy to be reckoned with, and he's a guy that we do not need to sleep on. We don't need to sleep on him, man. And if there's any Ravens in this chat right now, let me know. Any Ravens fans in the chat, yo, I'm going to show y'all some love, man. Yo, I've got nothing but respect for the Baltimore Ravens. I love that organization, man, from top to bottom. And I love me some Lamar Jackson. He's a great guy, hands down. Hands down. And that guy, man, look, we know for a fact. This is why I want us to focus on this. And maybe you're like, yo, Rev, yeah, man, we seen Lamar and the Ravens. Ain't nothing to be afraid of. And I'm not saying we need to be afraid of him. I'm saying you don't need to forget about him. Don't forget about him. Just because we beat him in the playoffs, I'm saying a couple years ago, don't mean nothing. Right? And just because we beat him a couple of years ago in the playoffs, that don't mean nothing, man. This ain't that. This ain't that. This ain't that, man. It's a different year. Different year. And Lamar's got a different team. You know what I'm saying? He's got a different team. And when you look at it, when you look at Lamar Jackson, we know, right? Coming into the league, the number one thing that defenses and defensive coordinators were saying was like, yo, you've got to stop Lamar Jackson. You've got to contain him because he's so dangerous as a runner, right? That's what we heard. Stop the man from running. You stop the man from running, you got him, right? And so teams tried like crap, tried their best to contain him. And unless you have the personnel on defense, and unless you have the discipline as well on defense to play contain, especially when you get edge rushers who are used to rushing the passer and getting after it, having to play like contain and make sure that you don't over pursue your rush lanes. Like you're gonna get beat. You're going to get beat. And he's beaten many teams, many defenses, made many defensive coordinators look foolish, right? That's just what Lamar does. And we were like, if we can stop him from running, we got him. Because we know the offense is predicated upon his legs and the ground game, right? Lamar Jackson and that ground game. And we as Bills fans are familiar with Greg Roman's offensive scheme, his philosophy, because he was an OC, right? In Buffalo under Rex Ryan. We're familiar with that. We know with Tyrod Taylor, we know what he does. And he loves tight ends, man. And the thing with Greg Roman is look, he throw the ball, he throws a ball in a certain spot on the field, right? Throws the ball in a certain spot in the field. Between the hashes. That's it. He doesn't throw outside, nothing like that. And he loves his tight ends. So we kind of had we felt like we had the rap on him, right? And we were able to stop Lamar and the Ravens. But that was a good game though. That was close. If not for Teron Johnson pick six, we probably would not be sitting here with as much confidence as we have nowadays, right? But now when you look at Lamar Jackson, and even Ravens fans have been talking about it. They've been talking, get Lamar Jackson some weapons. Invest and get Lamar some weapons. My man Engraven Vids was talking about it last night, right? But Rico was talking about it on his show, man. And go check that out last night, man. Engraven Vids, man. That guy is he is a legend, a king, and Ravens royalty, right? Ravens content creation royalty. That guy is an incredible man. And talking about Lamar Jackson, he didn't have the weapons. Outside of Mark Andrews, who has he really had? Marquise Brown? What did that do? You know what I'm saying? Like, and then he's like, you put Lamar Jackson, insert Lamar Jackson into this Buffalo Bills offense right now with Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis, Isaiah McKenzie, Jamison Crowder, Dawson Knox, James Cook out the backfield, right? Tell me this guy is not lighting it up. And you're playing yourself if you think this man is just a running quarterback. You're playing yourself. Don't even let that come out of your mouth. Okay. So the Achilles heel for the Ravens for so long under Lamar Jackson was that, he just doesn't have enough weapons. Invest Baltimore in some weapons. So what do they do this year? And people were talking about it too. They're like, is it? And maybe they need to switch schemes. Maybe it's a Greg Roman issue. We know Roman, he's not too particular for wide receivers. We know he's big on tight ends, man. 2 and 3 tight end sets because he wants to ground and pound. He wants to do that. And we look at the offense right now that Lamar Jackson has, and they did something different this year. They went out and got the man some weapons, right? They got rid of Hollywood Brown. They still have Mark Andrews. They got Doyle coming back from injury, if I'm not mistaken. But then they added receivers in the draft, right? Rashad Bateman. Added Rashad Bateman. That guy coming out of Minnesota. First round draft pick in 2021 NFL draft for the Baltimore Ravens. Pick number 27. 6'1", 193 pounds. People were like, what is Rashad Bateman? Is he really going to be that guy? Well, he's proven that he's a guy in Baltimore right now. When you look at his numbers, man, 226 receiving yards right now so far on 8 receptions. On 8 receptions. The guy, man, he's an up and coming wide receiver who we have to pay attention to. I'm trying to look at his numbers as far as his yards per reception. 28.3 yards per reception for Rashad Bateman. Deep threat wide receiver. Makes perfect sense in that offense, right? When you have to account for Lamar Jackson in his legs and even the running game, play action. You've got to account for Mark Andrews, who we're going to talk about too. And then off play action, you've got this guy, Rashad Bateman, who's averaging 28.3 yards per reception, blowing the tops off of defenses, right? But if that's not enough, then they added Devin Duvernay, right? Devin Duvernay. Maybe you don't know a whole lot about him, but he was a 3rd round draft pick in 2020, came out of Texas. The man is one of the top, if not the top, kick returners in the league right now. The guy's a burner. Absolute burner. He's got 121 receiving yards this year so far as well on 8 targets. On 8 targets and 8 receptions. So the guy's caught everything that's been thrown to him. 15 yards per reception with 3 receiving touchdowns. Look, last week we had to face speed. This week we're facing speed as well. And we're maybe not as fast as a Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill, but Devin Duvernay and Rashad Bateman are plenty fast. Right? Plenty fast. Then they got another guy who is not getting a whole lot of time, but Talon Wallace. Talon Wallace, 4th round draft pick last year out of Oklahoma State. Another young wide receiver, right? And so they're adding talent around him. They got DeMarcus Robinson. You remember him? Of course you do. So Lamar now has adequate targets, not to mention Mark Andrews, who is tearing it up this year. Tearing it up. 245 receiving yards right now on 22 receptions. My man has 3 receiving touchdowns, averaging 11 yards per reception. Mark Andrews, we saw that incredible catch that he had last week against the Patriots right in the end zone. And I think Next Gen Stats put out was saying that was like a less than 12% chance that he would complete that pass, that he would make that catch in the end zone. And Mark Andrews caught the ball for the touchdown with guys draped on him. Mark Andrews is a phenomenal tight end. Top tight end in the National Football League. Right? They got another guy. He's a rookie out of Coast Carolina, Isaiah Likely. Another guy, 6'5", 235. They've got talent, man. They've got talent. And Lamar Jackson is now, he has weapons at his disposal, and he's showing you what he can do with weapons. He's showing you, right? Now, the run game is not as potent as it once was. but we're going on 4 weeks into the season. I believe that ground game is going to increase, right? Because it's something that we expect. It's their bread and butter. But what you now have to account for is Lamar Jackson throwing the rock through his weapons. So when you look at this matchup here, this is what I want to ask you guys. When you look at the matchup here that the Bills are facing, what is the key matchup for you? What is the key matchup for you in the Bills-Ravens game? What is it? I see a lot of people talking about, our defense is going to shut them out. Your RD is better than the Ravens, even with backups. And our offense is just as good. Yeah, but man, you look, it's a week-to-week league, right? I mean, it's a week-to-week league. Yeah, I believe our defense is better. I definitely believe that. And our offense is just as good, assuming they're healthy, right? Assuming these guys are healthy. But at the end of the day, man, we have to perform. We have to perform on the field. And we can't walk into this game thinking that this is just going to be another easy dub because our team is better on paper than they are. You're sadly mistaken. You're going to find yourself with an L like we did in Miami. We don't want that, right? We don't want that. This game is crucial. This game is incredibly important for us because the matchups on the field right now, hopefully our guys are healthy, right? All right, hopefully our guys are healthy, but they got speed, right? We got to account for Mark Andrews. Man, Milano's going to have his hands full with Mark Andrews. Better believe that, right? Our rookie cornerbacks are going to have their hands full with Rashad Bateman, who's got speed to take the top off the defense, and Devin Duvernay, right? And Lamar Jackson, because you have to account for Lamar's legs. He scrambles in the pocket. I think he leads the league when in time in the pocket. I think like 3 seconds, right? It takes him or something like that before he releases the ball, before he passes the ball. Which means what? He's scrambling. He's running around in the pocket. He's doing what he does, but he's not just taking off like he used to do. One read, look, doesn't see anybody, and he takes off. Right? He takes off. He doesn't do that. Now he's scrambling and he's looking downfield. And you know who he's looking for first and foremost? Mark Andrews. And when you have guys that are defending the pass for 3 seconds, like you can't expect them to maintain sound coverage that long. All the while, you got to have your front 7 at least keeping contained in case Lamar Jackson takes off, right? He's got you guys. He's got your eyes, looking down the field because you're concerned that he's going to throw it 20-something yards down the field to Rashad Bateman or 15 yards down the field to Mark Andrews. And while he's got you, taking the cheese, he takes off and runs. Like, that's a problem. You know what I'm saying? That's a problem. And my man Buy Stock says, we got to have a spy. I get it. I have confidence that Leslie Frazier and Sean McDermott are going to create the game plan necessary to slow Lamar Jackson down. Hopefully, right? But we can't overlook it. This game is important. Not only are we going up against a juggernaut team. Look, I think people have recency bias, man. I think people have forgotten about the Ravens. I think because last year they didn't make the playoffs and they forgot that they sustained so many injuries early in the season, in the offseason and training camp. Like they just forgot that they forgot that the Ravens were a very good team. Don't go to sleep, Mafia. Please don't go to sleep. Do not go to sleep on the Baltimore Ravens. At all. Okay. And so key matchups, man. Key matchups in this game. I'm looking at, first and foremost, Stephon Diggs and Marlon Humphrey. Marlon Humphrey is an incredible cornerback. And I'm curious to see if they're going to match him up with Stephon Diggs. Right? We've seen him in the playoff game, how good he is. Marlon Humphrey. He's a very good cornerback. So he and Diggs, if they match up like that, right? If they match up together, that's gonna be a very interesting matchup. The next one we have to take a look at though is Marcus Peters, and I want to know how healthy is Marcus Peters. I'm not too sure how healthy he is, right? And so you got to think that Gabe Davis is likely gonna take that matchup, right? He's likely gonna take that matchup unless they decide to flip it. I don't know. And so we'll see, man. But then for me, it's also the offensive line. I want to see this offensive line against the Baltimore Ravens D line. I want to see that, man. But the D line, we know, and I've been hearing that the Ravens, the pass rush is not what it once was. It's not all that good so far in 3 weeks in, right? So does that mean that our offensive linemen can take a breather, right, and just expect Josh to have all the time in the pocket? I mean, they better bring their hard hats, because we just don't know, right? Because they still have talent on paper. Justin Madubuike, Calais Campbell, Adafe Owe, Josh Bynes, you know what I'm saying, Patrick Quick. I mean, they still have talent, and talent can show up any given. You just don't know. You just don't know. So I'm interested, man. I think this is going to be a great game. I really do. But let me tell you why this game is so important for the Bills. Let me tell you why. It's because of the playoff standing. This is the playoff race. If you didn't think the playoff race started in week 1, you're sadly mistaken. Okay? We know last year the Bills didn't get off to a hot start, right? And they had a weaker schedule. They let some games slip by. They lost close games that they shouldn't have lost, right? They at one point, I mean, they dug themselves in such a deep hole. I was like, yo, I don't know how they're going to dig themselves out of this hole and make the playoffs last year. They managed to do it, right? Granted, they did what they had to do and won some games towards the tail end of the year, but they also had some help by the Patriots, right? Who lost the final 4 games, I think, of their season last year after going on like a 7-game win streak. And we know for a while it was the Patriots that were leading the division. And if our goal is the Super Bowl, and the way to get there is by securing the number 1 seed in the playoffs, which we did not get last year, we know that the number 1 seed runs to we have to win our division. We cannot afford to have losses in the division. We already took that L last week. 0-1 in the division. 0-1 in the division, right? But when we look at the schedule, though, we know the Dolphins are leading the East, right? They have common opponents, too. This is why it's so important. The Dolphins already beat the Ravens, and they already beat us, right? And they beat the Pats. So they're 2-0 in the division, 3-0 in the conference, and 3-0 overall record. You don't think that's significant? You don't think that can have some type of ramifications later on down the season? Don't get too cocky or too arrogant in thinking that, we'll be good. I know we got 14 games left to play. Anything can happen. I get that. But don't act like these games are not significant right now. We saw that when we looked at the schedule this year, when the schedule came out, we knew that the first 6 weeks of the season was going to be extremely important for the Buffalo Bills as far as positioning themselves for the number 1 seed in the playoffs throughout the season. This season is all about positioning. Throughout the entire year, it's going to be like this. Teams positioning themselves, moving up, moving back, all season. And the Bills needed to get off to a tremendous start, especially the first 6 weeks. We looked at it before we started the season. We saw week 1, defending Super Bowl champion, Los Angeles Rams. Week 2, the number 1 seed last year, the Tennessee Titans at home. Week 3, divisional foe against the Miami Dolphins, who improved on paper because they added Tyreek Hill and other weapons. And they got a good coach in Mike McDaniel. So we saw that. Week 4, we're like, Baltimore Ravens, got to go to Baltimore and play the Ravens. Lamar Jackson coming back. The rest of the team is getting healthy. The Ravens are no slouch, no team. You cannot overlook them. Week 5, Pittsburgh Steelers TJ Watt and the Steelers, all that kind of stuff, right? Granted, we didn't know TJ Watt was going to get injured. We didn't know they were going to have Mitch Trubisky, all that. We didn't know any of that kind of stuff. But the Steelers are still a team that you have to look out for, right? Right, because we understand that philosophy, right, that Mike Tomlin has instilled in that organization. They're not going down easily. And then week 6, just before the bye, the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead Stadium for the umpteenth millionth time. When can we get a game against them at home? It looks like we're going to have to. It looks like the only time we're going to get a home game against the Kansas City Chiefs is if we win the division, get the number 1 seed, and they got to come play us in the playoffs. But that's way down the road. But we saw the first 5 games or 6 games of the season, and we're like, yo, this is a tough first 6 games, right? The Buffalo Bills, when you look at it, we were like, yo, they can go no less than 4-2, right? No less than 4-2 in this, because if they do, then they're going to be in trouble. They're going to be in trouble, right? Because one of those games is of course, is an out of conference game against the Rams, but they got 5 of them AFC conference games, conference matchups, 1 in the division. These games are going to be important in the standings. Tennessee Titans, you look at the AFC South, any team could win that, right? The Miami Dolphins, we know it's a divisional rival, divisional team. We have to win that. We got to win. It starts with winning the division. The Baltimore Ravens, you don't think that towards the end of the season, it's going to come down to this? Pittsburgh Steelers, Kansas City Chiefs. We cannot afford to lose these games because they are going to play a significant role in us achieving or not achieving our goal of obtaining the number 1 seed in the AFC playoff, right? We have to beat these teams. And what happens if we lose to the Ravens? Where do you think that slots us? I get it. Anything can happen. The Dolphins can lose 14 straight games. That can happen. Anything's possible. So can the Bills, right? But if the Bills lose to the Ravens, we've already lost to the Dolphins. And then we lose to the Ravens. The Dolphins would be up on us by 2 games. Am I right? They beat us. They beat the Ravens. Do you think this game is not important? You think it's just another game on the schedule? No, it's far more important than just another game on the schedule. This game has a lot of ramifications. A lot of ramifications as it pertains to playoff seeding, and then even just narratives. Narratives, right? What happened to the Buffalo Bills? They entered the season as the number 1 team in the power rankings, the by far the favorites, and to win the Super Bowl. And here we are, 4 weeks into the season, and they've dropped a game to the divisional rival Miami Dolphins, and then to the Baltimore Ravens. Now they're sitting at 2-2, 0-1 in the division. Right? Can you see that? And they still have the Steelers and the Chiefs to play before they enter the bye week. And after the bye week, we have a matchup against Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. Then it gets a little bit easier on paper, right? The Jets, week 9, Vikings, week 10, Cleveland Browns, week 11, Lions, week 12, Patriots, we don't play them until December, week 13, Jets again, Dolphins again in week 15. We better take care of business this week. Okay? We have to take care of business this week, or else we're going to find ourselves in trouble. I'm not saying that the season is over. I'm not saying any of that stuff. I'm just saying that we cannot think that it's not going to have any type of ramifications as it at the end of the year, man, because it really is. It really is. And you don't think that the Ravens feel the same way? They lost to the Dolphins. You think they want to lose to us as well? They understand what's at stake in the playoff race, right? They're looking at their division as well. It's all about positioning, man. All about, this is a 17-game grudge match of positioning every single week. And these Ravens are not going to just give it to us. They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. And so the Buffalo Bills better come with it. But no excuses this game. I don't care. Hopefully we get some guys back healthy, right? But if we don't, they better come with it. They better come with it. I hope they're getting their rest. I hope they're getting, fluids in them all, for all the fluids they may have lost because from last game. I hope that they're doing things the right way. I believe they are. This game is going to be one heck of a game. One heck of a game. What say you, ladies and gentlemen? What say you? Let me know what you think, man. What do you think? What do you think? Do I want to do any score predictions? I'm not gonna. I don't want to, man. I don't want to. It's too early. It's early, and maybe down the week when I can look at this injury report, things would change. But right now, all I'm saying is this: this is going to be an incredible matchup. Two phenomenal quarterbacks, heavyweight quarterbacks, heavyweight matchup right now. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. It's going to be a slugfest, an absolute slugfest. So, Mafia, here's what I want you to do. Here's my message. Here's my message to the Bills Mafia, right? As I get ready to close out the show, right? Here's my message to Bills Mafia as in closing. First and foremost, stop talking about the Dolphins, please. Can we be done with that already? Let's be done with that. That's behind us. That's 3 days ago. It's all good. Let Dolphins fans run their mouth and enjoy that and all that. We know what it is, right? We know what it is. We know it. We've been there before. Let's not forget, Mafia. Let's not forget. Like, now I understand how the Patriots fans felt, right? When we were not that good of a team, but man, every once in a while, we got lucky and we beat the Patriots, and that was our Super Bowl. We ran out into the field. I remember seeing Kyle Williams run out. I mean, when Ryan Fitzpatrick, made that game-winning touchdown, we ran out into the field, won the game. The crowd erupted, all that. Man, we were shouting and all that kind of stuff. Because for us, that was our Super Bowl. Finally, we're able to beat the Patriots, who've had their thumb on us like a big brother. We finally beat them, and that was it. That was our season. And I bet we were insufferable too back then. I don't know that we thought that we were going to win the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? I think we had a healthy understanding of where we fell in the pecking order, you know what I'm saying, which may be the difference. But nevertheless, let them enjoy it. But let's not talk about them no more. Get off all that. Stop talking about that game. That game was 3 days ago. Who cares? Right? It happened. It happens, man. It happens, and it did happen. We're not going to go undefeated, and we didn't. Okay, so we got a good dose of reality. But the fact of the matter is, we need to focus our undivided attention on the Baltimore Ravens this week. And the Dolphins better be looking at the Bengals Thursday Night Football. Tomorrow night, they better be looking at Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase and them boys, right? And we know the Thursday Night Football record for road teams ain't that good. I'm just saying. Just saying. But yeah, I understand. Yeah, I saw some Finns fans beat the Bills. I saw that, man. It's stupid. It is what it is, right? What goes around comes around. What goes around comes around. Let's not give them any more airtime, right? That's what they want. They love it. The trolls. It is what it is. We'll see them week 15, right? If you know, you know. If you know, you know. But one thing I do know is that I can't wait for this game Sunday. I cannot wait for this game Sunday. I am so excited about it. And I hope you guys are excited about it too. Because that's my time, ladies and gentlemen. That's my time. An hour and 45 minutes in the books. Grace and peace to you guys. I hope you enjoyed the show. Do me this favor as you exit, show some love to one another. If there's some Ravens fans in here, show some love to them, man. It's all good, right? It's all good to have a healthy rivalry, healthy, discourse against fans of different fan bases. But let's not get disrespectful. Let's not cross the line. You know what I'm saying? Let's make sure, or try to at least, uphold the standard. You know what I'm saying? And enjoy two good football teams, two good organizations putting everything on the line this Sunday to secure a dub for their respective teams and organizations, man. Good luck to the Ravens, but not too much. Not too much, baby, because at the end of the day, baby, it's all about Bills, baby. It's all about go Bills. That's what it's about. And that's what I want you guys to do, man. Stay tuned. Keep it locked right here to the Buffalo Fanatics Network. Don't go anywhere the rest of this week because you know what time it is. You already know what's going on, man. Friday night, we got Rico Report. He's coming through. He's going to do his thing in the Rico Report. We got Saturday with the Spaces, man, with my guys, Kevin Syracuse and Zach Vaughn and the guys, man, dropping the Twitter Spaces. They doing their thing, man. You want to stay tuned to that. You want to stay tuned to Sunday to the pregame show by the fellas. You just want to keep it locked right here. And another special shout out to my man who's been doing this thing, man. He's been in the chat. He's been supporting BF and supporting me for a while, man. And he and some other dudes, man. Warlock 6, my man LaShawn German. You've been doing their thing in the Twitter Spaces. Check them guys out. I'm talking about my man Silas Whittle. Silas, shout out to you, baby. I see you in the chat, man. Much love to you, baby, for what you guys are doing, holding it down for Bills Mafia, man. Letting all the guys know what's good across the National Football League. Bills Mafia ain't backing down from nobody. We've got to challenge it, on our ahead of us this week. But we're Bills Mafia, baby. We ain't scared of a challenge. We look forward to it. So until next time, baby. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, much love. Much love. Much love back to you, Donut. Much love to you, man. And to the rest of the Bills Mafia and the Buffalo Fanatics all around the world. It's your man, Rev. God bless. Until next time, go Bills. Let's get it, baby. Go Bills. Love y'all, man. Talk to y'all next time.
Oh, the car from Carvana's here. Well, will you look at that? It's exactly what I ordered. Like, precisely. It would be crazy if there were any catches. But there aren't, right?
Right. Because that's how car buying should be. With Carvana, you get the car you want. Choose delivery or pickup and a week to love it or return it.
Buy your car today with
Carvana. Delivery or pickup fees may apply. Limitations and exclusions may apply. See our 7-day return policy at Carvana.com.